Hi everyone, welcome to Authentic Ingenuity Entrepreneur. My name is Mina Crichton. I'm the narrator of my YouTube channel and also my Facebook page. So today I will be continuing with more evidence that I feel is really relevant to do with my relationship with Henry Cavill. So today I will be talking more on my professional, on my private life, and also just consistency with in the moment evidence of everything that I've gone through historically. So basically, the case we're actually really dealing with mostly corporate body crimes and individuals in between, where an individual's privacy is completely gone and the originals end up being used for money laundering purposes and relationship scams. So usually it means that the person's liberty and dignity is completely taken away, and other people are controlling and manipulating their set of circumstances, and it is definitely a trafficking ring. It is a trafficking ring involving relationship scam, commonwealth gaming, money laundering, and the court system just not working. So the individual's rights and Bill of Rights are completely gone when somebody else is in full control. So this is another way to actually describe what human trafficking is in this new age system that is actually, people are categorized or put in a specific category behind the scenes. So you could end up being actually blacklisted or on the black market, which I believe that's what's happened to me. So this here, it has to start with internal corruption, which in my case, it's what's happened. It started off with internal corruption, privacy breaches at work, and eventually I ended up being in the trafficking ring on the surface and behind the scenes. So, and then they're actually able to micromanage anyone behind the scenes, but it also means the individual ends up being trapped, and then everything else is nothing's natural. Everything can be premeditated to your fate if you're not aware of it. The whole idea of their illegal project on a human being is that their mindset, whoever started it, or all the people involved in the micromanaging and the organised crime syndicate, their whole idea is actually due to demolishing of a human being. So they're actually acting everything out. If anyone has noticed or think that they may be trafficked, it's that easy to do. Everybody's involved. They all know that you're the package. They all know that you're the project. So everyone is aware of who you are. I have found that the people in my environment are actually the people that are the opposition, with the mindset to do the trafficking in persons and the deception and everything, and actually helping the person that is being used for substitute. So this picture here clearly reveal what the intent of our trafficking ring, like one I've been subject to, where I am the original. I use these arrows as a good example of how many layers of perpetrators who may be conspiring together at once. So they're doing proxy hacking from different places. They can be doing it in your neighborhood, or it's that easy. If you don't know what proxy hacking is, they're actually listening to you, they're monitoring all your data, everything. They can do everything just from having full access to everything you're doing. The danger is it is global, and it is connected to the government. So basically what I'm dealing with I'm challenging and denouncing the evidence on the surface in regards to the opposing ally. In my case is Natalie, and then the other female named Amy Denton that I've already mentioned on my other video clips. So they're the ones that are the competitors in this relationship. But in saying that, on the surface, things like, I know the Hollywood world or the media and that, anyone can get into trouble with things that are actually not true. Like you're dealing with deception to deceive the public or to cause a criminal alliance to hurt another person or to harm another person's reputation. So all this here is the kind of things that people do, and because of racial disharmony, and everyone just break the law just for the sake of trying to cover up, and unfortunately, when it comes to a conspiracy crime, you can be into trouble if what you're putting on social media is not true and it's deceiving public and it links to any conspiracy crimes. That's either whether it's written or oral or just using video clips. Okay, I'm not worried about anything because I'm actually talking about what's happening to me in my real life. Is my real life journey. You can't challenge anything I say because it's the truth. You can try, but I'm pretty confident that what I say is exactly what happened. They're my facts, my real life existence of what I'm going through. But the game that I've been subject to has been an illegal Commonwealth Games, so it's been global, okay, but they've used my life. They've used my life to play their global game, infecting everybody else that is the original, and that's exactly what's happened. And they've used me for relationship scams, and the whole idea really is secret society stealing. That they're secretly stealing anything monetary. They're stealing relationship scam. It can be anything, okay, but it's easy to do. From personal experience, these are the kind of things that I have actually witnessed in my journey. Okay, so we've got this guy here. I thought I might as well explain it. Serial cybercrime or serial syndicates who want to split up or use specific people for specific things. And I've put here this blue-eyed person. I thought I'd explain it. That I feel that some cultures and religions are like match fixing or matchmaking different cultures to marry, and then I feel this is part of the scientific experiment. They want to set people up to marry, but it's not just a set up just to marry. And then leave them alone. They're actually experimenting people's DNA, and this is what I believe what they're doing, and this is something that I have been subject to. Well, most of the guys that's been in my personal space have had blue eyes, okay, and the people that I haven't been having any affairs or anything like that, but just really close to. So I believe I've been caught up in something like that. This here kind of explained, but it's a serial syndicate who are doing illegal scientific experiments on humans, but people don't realize that's what's actually happening to them. It's also it is definitely money laundering, so it could also mean that they're trying to set up certain people with rich men or certain people with rich women, and this is why they're doing what they're doing. This container here is actually more of a symbol of a trafficking ring, and these are the things that I have found in my own environment, I mean, they're so confident in what they're doing. They do come out and let the victims know that they're onto me. But this is the things that I see why they're doing. Whoever's doing what they're doing, they are matchmaking and setting people up to marry certain people, and that's the reason why the medical records, if it's been falsified or like my case has been, but I don't know I can't say who's actually behind it. I believe it's a mixture of people. Other reason could be because of religions taking over, or extremists who are atheists, who don't believe in God, and they just get a pleasure of victimizing people just for the sake of it, which I have gone through, like a human sacrifice. But this is what this here is. I believe this is more of like a serial, with everything I've gone through, I believe this kind of syndicate, which involve cults and culture and religions, but they are using the occupation, and it's for real. So my situation actually started in court, and I don't know if anyone's noticed, sometimes you see people walking around with a tray of eggs. It's because they have intentions to actually do scientific experiment on people's body, or or their human biology. I knew this was happening to me in the early years, but I couldn't do anything about it. But these are the kind of things that they're actually doing. They're actually that confident with what they have in mind to do with individuals, and they are actually acting it out. So there's definite violation of Bill of Rights, human rights, and they are lying, and it is definitely racial discrimination. Like, if your whole area is contaminated, you're not safe because everybody is lying to you. All right, so I felt in my heart that I actually needed to talk more about Natalie's obviously my competitor. She finds me a threat, obviously, but I'm not the one in her space. Other people are in my space in her behalf, or even the other women. This is why I ring the police, but this has been consistent. This is where it's really bad, because I've done this consistently, complaining to the police about the same old scenario about people stalking and in my space, and they haven't done anything about it because they all know, everyone's just treating me invisible. So today I just want to finish off that this will probably be my last clip to do with Henry, but in my last clip, I did show that we did a blood oath, and then he actually bought me a ring, but he didn't tell me that I knew he wanted to marry me. He had that's why he made me do a blood oath, because he had every intention he wanted to marry me. Okay. I knew he was in love with me right from the beginning, but I didn't realize how much he really was until time went on. And then eventually, I felt the same way. But he did the blood oath, and then when I thought later on we had problems, because I knew he had the South Korea big incident thing coming up, but I didn't know much about it, because we were still kind of early days, but we were actually really private, and I said to him, look, I know that the minute they find out about us, they're going to try and split us up. And he just like, oh, that's not going to happen. He was quite sure of himself, but I says, no, they are. And sure enough, that's exactly what happened. So for my version of facts that is real, I have actually put it on my Facebook page. Keep in mind that it's only a PR relationship, and that Natalie is only an ex, but everything was run by PR and management, and all the video clips that they put out before he got sick was just all part of the contract. And I believe that this is possibly why Henry's even more resentful at Natalie, because he felt he felt set up. And I know how easy it is to be set up by people. Sometimes you don't realize something was very wrong until after the fact, until after you go through it and you're like, that's really bad. I shouldn't have done that. But that's a sign of someone being trafficked. When somebody else has organized everything in advance, put on a spot. That's all part of being trafficked, when people force their intent onto you, or put words in your mouth, or make you do things, but you go along with it without knowing what's down the road or why it's being used for. However, I believe Natalie knew all about it, but when she found out about us, sure enough, it happened. Henry's version to me was that he didn't he didn't invite her. She just turned up, and because we were both deeply in love at this time, and he was like the one, like I said, he was the one who did the oath. These are very serious facts that I'm actually disclosing, but I feel I need to, for the sake of the public and being deceived, and it's up to the public to believe who, but it is sufficient for it to go to the courts. I'm confident to do that. I believe I have to tell my story because I'm protecting Henry and myself also. But anyway, so what happened was, you all have to keep in mind that I'm twinned, and like people are literally into everything I'm doing, okay? And this is just another cycle repeating itself. So once again, I thought I'd use this just to prove, just to keep in mind, like visually, like in the background, this is our set of circumstance of both individuals trapped. Henry's trapped, I'm trapped. And the scary discovery I have found is that they're intimately into our conversations, our emotions. That it's like when you put a monitor on somebody's heart and you can hear their heartbeat. So they're motivated, everything's motivated by your emotions, what you say, your body language. So this is how this new age Big Brother relationship, I don't know what everyone wants to call it, but it is so serious. And so this is how, and then we're both animated. And so Natalie's crew and the PR behind her and the alliance behind her, they knew I was watching. And I didn't find out anything until it kind of came out of the media. Well, it came out of the media before Henry could actually tell me what actually happened. But Henry's side of the story is that Natalie, he said he didn't know what happened. He believes he was drugged. Okay. And I know everybody thinks that he cheated on me. His mum said he's not a cheat. I believe his mother, and I believe him. He was very upset what happened, and as you can, apparently she wasn't meant to be part of the thing. She just turned up, and then it ended up being the PR. So everything was all for show for the public, to deceive the public that they're some kind of a happy couple, but they weren't a romantic couple at all. So he said he believes his drink was, he got drugged, and they slept together. But he had intentions of marrying me before even that happened. He had a ring, so he was really upset. So with that, I should have actually broken up with him, but because of the blood oath and my loyalty to the truth, and I find those things very sacred. You never, especially you just don't. When you do anything under oath, let your yea be yea and your nay be nay, because God will make you accountable if you break them. Those things are very sacred. But I took a bit of time to make a decision, so we both made the decision. Because I believed him, I thought we'll give it another go, and I just felt that not to leave him, and so we both made a decision that we were going to work on it and grow together with what we were going through, because he was still very madly in love with me, and so was I. However, it has been more painful for me because of the public scrutiny. And also I just have the gifts of discernment, and to see and watch the news and on social media people mocking me and making my love life with Henry some kind of a game and a competition, it's actually really it's really serious, because they're actually playing with people's emotions, and they are hurting. They are hurting the individuals involved. And it can cause either depression, and there's just a lot of sabotage and a lot of interference. So everything that I have gone through personally, it has been intentional. I have to say, in the last little while, the criminal harassment seemed to cease a little bit. Maybe that's because everybody's on holiday. I don't know, but I feel like God has moved in for me, and I just know when God's intervened. But before that, I was like ringing the cops nearly every day. They are ignoring me because their intent is that, they use the Mental Health Act on me to make out I'm the crazy one, but they're actually stealing. So everything I apply for, they're stealing and giving it to somebody else. I will do a video clip on the hip hop group, because that's one of them that they've used me for historically while I was working for my employer. So it's a definite lockout situation, and the danger is that Natalie's actually linked to somebody in my court case, so that's treason on its own. And then Amy Denton is also linked somewhere, so there's a lot of money involved behind the scene. And so the other thing was, there was just to actually talk a little bit more about what happened when Henry got poisoned. He was going through an operation, and it's been soul destroying for him. 1 minute he had everything, and then next minute he was sick, and I know how he felt because I went through it. And then the major operations took place. And there was a time we thought he wasn't going to make it, but I had suspicions somebody was trying to kill him. I believe God knew that, and I believe God brought us together for that very reason. And God has ways of speaking to me about things, and when God speaks to me, I know that I've got to do what I've got to do. That's just the type of person I am. But he was going through a really serious depression. I knew that, even the first incident when the doctors used use equipment of another person to cause an infection. I mean, that speaks volume. That's a sign. That's a very massive mistake. Anyway, but then he had another operation, and his mum said he was going through, because me and his mum we were just at each other, talking, helping each other, supporting each other. She was letting me know how he was doing. 24 hours, I was just round the clock. I never left his side. And I was worried too about his mum, because she was just going through so much on her own, so much. And so anyway, she was just letting me know how he was. I felt my heart just went out to her, because there was so much burden on her, and there have been times we thought he wasn't going to make it. And then one day Henry, his mum said he was depressed. He was suffering from depression, and he was talking about being suicidal. And so I managed to talk him out of it and make him, snap him out of it, because he was just on a low. Everybody gets on a low every now and then, especially when you've gone through what he's gone through. But I knew he was going through so much mentally, the sudden change, then all these operations, and he was getting treated bad too. There were some things going on that wasn't good, but I knew his life wasn't. Me and his mum knew his life wasn't safe. someone was trying, to kill him, to be totally honest. So we had this conversation on text, and I tried to talk him out of, committing suicide, and then he was all right. He just needed to talk about it, and then he was okay. So his mum had to go out the next day, or just around that time. She thought he was okay to leave him because she needed to get out. She's hardly ever goes out. She's by his bed 24/7 all the time, keeping an eye on him, and her letting me know how he's doing when he's unconscious. And then I talked him out of being depressed, and he was okay. So his mum, we popped out for a while, but when she came back, the doctors had told him that a nurse had gone into the room. He started yelling and screaming and told her to get out, but this is what she was told. And then the doctors said that he grabbed the injection and he injected himself. So it sounded like he tried to commit suicide. His mum was devastated, and I thought I'll leave it for a bit. And then eventually I questioned his mum and asked what happened, tell me exactly what happened word for word, which she did. And then I just had this feeling we had to find out, because I didn't believe them. After talking to his mum, what happened, because she's been informed by the doctors what happened. She wasn't there with what actually happened, okay? So, he hears this woman, you just take on board whatever you've been told. And so I told her she told me everything word for word what happened. And then I said to her, I don't think Henry killed himself. Just because he said it, I don't believe he tried to kill himself. But he was advised by the doctor that he may end up being brain dead. He'll end up being a vegetable. So we were quite worried because of the dose that was injected on him. They were saying that would cause all that damage to his organ, to his body, and he may never just be normal. And I just couldn't believe that. I said, no, Mum, to his mum, I said, no, I don't believe he tried to kill himself. And I asked her to find out what happened. And so with that, we both work as a team, and I told her word for word what to do. And I was just on my hands and knees day and night praying and just looking to God for him. And it was very traumatic time for both of us, for me and his mum. And eventually Henry responded, and he slowly recovered. And then we found out that he didn't try to inject himself. The nurse did it. Somebody else had gone in there, injected him, and left. So this is the reason why I told our story publicly. Henry's family is very private, very, very, very private, and so am I. But I also knew that we needed serious public intervention, because that was very serious. So that is the reason why I started putting all that information on Facebook. I'm not acting like a jealous girlfriend or anything like that, because I'm not the type to be jealous. Like, everyone knows jealousy is not one of my weaknesses, but because he is my man, and because we are in a very close relationship, I had to do something, and it was just sensible to go public. And not only that, with all these women and all these alliances, and me being able to interpret what's on TV about my life and Henry's and all that's going on, I just felt we were like outnumbered, and we were in real serious situation. So that's why I started going Facebook and started putting, with Henry's consent, and started telling our side of the story, because Natalie and her gang were making things difficult. Somebody is responsible for, trying to kill him while he was unwell. But as it turned out, he didn't try and commit suicide. Now, I was thinking, the way the doctors had described Henry's condition at that time, it sounded like he basically told his mum to give up hope on him. Like, he's going to be a vegetable. That this is what was going on in the moment. But I didn't feel in my heart to give up on him. And I thought, no. And then all I did was just look to God, and then God just gave me confirmation, and I just hung in there, and God just showed me things. That's a total miracle, and God has answered all those prayers, and today he's fine, he's recovering well, and he's got his memory, because they told the doctor said that he could lose his memory, forget things. So he's been through hell of a lot. And then I'm putting up with the abuse of all these criminal alliances in my space when I go out by myself. Being personally tormented, humiliated, really treating me really bad. So that's why I've had to go public, because I know that I knew God was watching over me, and I also knew people who knew me really well. No, I would never make up those kind of stories. And God has definitely intervened for both Henry and I. But that's the reason why I felt I needed to denounce. Well, both Henry and I agree he supports me, because I've had to, because I'm the mouthpiece for him. And I wish I didn't have to, because I hate public too. But when you're trying to save somebody's life, you need help. And I was beside myself, because I just didn't know if we were going to make it, because there was just some really serious times. But then we get all these imposters pretending that he's seeing other women, and then that they're making out fraudulent fake news on the radio and on television, and then Natalie trying to make out that their team's trying to make out I'm stolen her boyfriend, stuff like that. But they are definitely not in a romantic relationship. Natalie ruined that relationship herself, but in saying that, it's probably all the other people that hate Henry and myself who are just using Natalie. I'm not sticking up for it, but I'm just saying that's a possibility. But my other concern is that it does link to all my court cases. But this time round with this relationship, it's real, and I know people have got their opinion. And their, why they want to break us up. But we both know, Henry and I both know, that our relationship is definitely a miracle. I without a shadow of doubt, I don't regret any of it. I'm grateful he's alive today, and I'm grateful that I believe God's not finished with him, because God's told me that it wasn't his time. It wasn't his time to go, although I knew people were trying to murder him. So that's why I actually get really upset, and sometimes I can sound quite aggressive because I'm very forward. A lot of it's because I'm angry at what's going on, because it shouldn't be happening. From my point of view, here's this man fighting for his life, and here's these people ruining his reputation. And there's a lot more deeper things there. He's a victim of trafficking, and I don't like that word, and Henry doesn't like that word either, but that is the truth in legal terminology, that we're both being used for a pecuniary advantage for other people and relationship scam. I have not found anything funny. I feel the whole game and whatever they're doing, it's evil. Words cannot describe playing games with people's emotion. So I'll end this clip here. This probably will be the last time. I just felt in my heart that I needed to talk about that for my criminal case, and to clear Henry of anything. And also because I know also there's public alliances with these other women trying to set him up or whatever, but you can't steal somebody's heart if it already belongs to somebody else. And Henry just said to me, why you even bother about what the public are saying and that, because he said, I'm yours. That's not that. Like, logically, he wasn't seeing what I was seeing and what needed to be done to save both of our lives and everybody else's lives, because like the game was drawing in so many civilians who don't have a clue what they've gotten themselves involved in and how. Sorry about that. I just had a bit of a technical problem, but this whole game does entail they're planning on stealing, really. And if it's not Natalie, they're using other women, and I know who they are too, by the way. So, you know, and I just find it so annoying. I know exactly what they're going to do, and their intention is they're going to do. But the whole idea is, the whole evidence on my personal profile clearly shows that that I had, or what's happened to me historically is definitely intentional. One-sided evidence, one-sided, you know, even with the doctors making medical assessments that is fraudulent. And then we think about City Med, where that doctor, I didn't even meet him. He made a medical assessment just on documentations without any consultation with me. I didn't even know what he looked like. And that was the reason why I lost my job. But everything was intentional. Okay, so I just felt that I needed just to tell that bit in regards to Henry, yeah, so I will leave it at that.